about this van I do not particularly like, and I wish I could change, but I don't really think there's a way to change it. Hey guys, I'm Ann. I'm a single mom, and this is my 2000 Roadtrek 190 Popular. I bought her in 2019, which is when I started van life. I started full-time for about 5 months. Then we moved to Mexico for a little over 3 years, and now we're back in the US doing part-time RV life. We just came back from spring break, and I thought I would let you know the aspects of this particular van that is not a favorite of mine. So if you don't know what a Roadtrek is, it's a brand of camper vans, but what they did essentially is they took a van, in my case, it's a 2000 Dodge van, and they converted it to the Roadtrek. They added all the camper van stuff. And there's definitely more things that I love about this van than I dislike, but nevertheless, number one is I hate the windshield scenario. The windshield is too small. I would love to have a big, gorgeous windshield where I can see much more. When I sit, the windshield is like only slightly above my line of sight, if that makes sense, right? So sitting properly, I've got this situation, which means anytime I'm driving through like a downtown area or small cities, the traffic lights tend to be a little closer to the van, and that means I can't see them in my normal upright position. I have to do this number. And I have to wait for the light to turn green before I can go. And I'm just hunched over, waiting for the light to change. So I really wish like even just an inch taller on the windshield would be amazing, but there's no way. There's just no way to make that happen with this particular model. And again, this is a 2000 Dodge. I'm not familiar with the Chevy chassis or the Mercedes chassis or all the other vans that Roadtrek uses as its chassis. They might have a bigger windshield scenario, but on my little Dodge, I would just love everything to be a little taller in the cab driving scenario, like the windows and such. Everything is a little shorter than honestly I would prefer. I can stand in the RV, which is awesome, right? I can stand, but just in the front, I just want a little more something. Similarly, because this used to be a van and they raised the roof, at the door, everything is also low. So as you can see, when I'm standing, these three windows, which by the way, I've recently covered in a pretty dark tint in preparation for the summer that's coming, just to help keep the RV a little cool. But either way, I'm at the perfect height to be able to see out of these three windows. However, not the same situation with these windows. In order to see out of these windows, I have to bend pretty far. And I wish that I could have, you know, gigantic windows and doors to see the beautiful world outside. That being said, I do feel a little more protected, kind of nested, because I don't have those huge windows. So really the time that I want these other windows to be bigger are times when I'm recording for YouTube, because I think it would be much more picturesque for you. But nevertheless, the fact that I have to bend down to see out the window, not my favorite. I can see my pantry really well when she's stocked, but I can't see the world if I'm standing, with the exception of the three windows. Even the back of the vehicle, I can see my air conditioner, which I love, but not so much the world. And I've got this window covered, and I keep that window covered because there's really no point not covering her, because for this to be used, I have to bend pretty far to see out this window. So like, why bother? Number two, when I open both of these doors, you can see that they're kind of inward facing. Some vehicles have a latch on their door where they can further extend past, but that is not my style of door. This is as far as she opens, and therefore this is the view that you get, which is not horrible, but like, imagine if these doors were fully open, how much prettier that would be. So that's as far as she opens. That's what we're looking at. I absolutely hate that to fill the fresh water in my RV, I have to open the back doors right where my bed is. So if it's like a rainy day, you really kind of can't fill the freshwater tank because you're probably going to get your bed and all of the bedding wet in the back. I've thought about maybe getting a shower curtain and adding it to the back or something, which maybe one day I'll do, but either way, very annoying, not my favorite thing at all. Newer vehicles, I believe it's in the door frame of one of the front doors. So you just open one of the front doors and there it is. I feel like that would be a little better than having it on your bed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't that seem, I don't know, not a fan of that. I don't like that Roadtrek changed companies / got discontinued. So again, I have a 2000 Roadtrek. I could be wrong about the year, but I want to say 2017 or thereabouts. Roadtrek went out of business. Okay, it's a Canadian company and they went out of business.
The RV industry was stunned with the sudden insolvency, bankruptcy, receivership, and the shutdown, the firing of all their employees from Roadtrek Motorhomes in Ontario. Roadtrek has been for almost 50 years now an iconic brand in the camper van RV industry. And the collapse of that company and the hundreds of people who lost their jobs was stunning because it was totally unexpected.
Now, when it comes to the van, it's a Dodge van. So I can use, in theory, any place that has Dodge parts, I should be good, except that it's an older Dodge. But at the end of the day, as time goes on with these vintage or more classic Roadtreks, when it comes to specialty parts, we are running out. It's a Dodge. Dodge is fairly basic. So I haven't run into anything yet that I can't get for the Dodge. So far, so good. But like over time, that will start to become an issue. Now, Roadtrek eventually got repurchased by a group, and so you can buy a new Roadtrek, but the new Roadtreks, they don't associate per se with the older Roadtreks. They don't help fix or worry about parts and replacement. And so, it's a future concern. As my vehicle gets older, as I use her more, I'm going to eventually run out of, just parts in general. It's not something I'm freaking out about because parts can be tweaked. They can be manufactured. They can be jerry-rigged, if that makes sense. But it really just depends on the knowledge level I have with the vehicle. Although, huge plus, I feel like the Roadtrek community is epic. It's amazing. And so in the past, when I've had part-related issues, I just go to those forums, the groups of people that have the more vintage, classic Roadtreks, and a lot of them have workarounds, or some people have actually created parts to replace supplies that I can no longer purchase new. So the community has my back, but it still worries me because they're obviously not on Amazon, and I can't necessarily get things overnight because I'm dealing with, it's almost like dealing with Etsy or customizable parts. There's going to be time involved with getting parts that have been creatively made. It's not under any warranty. I can't send it to an RV shop and expect them to necessarily fix it unless that RV shop is willing to be creative with how they fix things. One last thing, this is the perfect height to where if I've got my glasses on top of my head and I exit or enter the vehicle, I'm at the perfect height where it will hit the top of my head. That is not fun. So I have to either move the glasses down or take it completely off to avoid injury to my noggin. Yeah, I think everything else that I didn't necessarily care for in the RV was fixable. So I do have another video that shows some of the changes I made to the RV when I first got her. But these are the things that I can't do much about. So I'm kind of stuck with the situation. Now, overall, I absolutely love this vehicle and I have no intention of giving her up. This baby's gonna have to get totaled, essentially, for me to get rid of her. And let's knock on wood that never happens. But I like to be transparent. I like to be obvious with the things that I do and do not like about this vehicle. But it's kind of like a 95% love and a 5%, nothing I can really do about it.